What's up my fellow homewreckers, it's Ari. And I have such an exciting video today because I will be going through my Colourpop haul. I haven't really alluded that much to this haul in my videos, but I have alluded to this haul quite a bit on Twitter. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, at Ari Network on Twitter, because at Ari Net was taken. I was kind of trying to build up some suspense for this video and try and make it kind of a little bit exciting, but then it arrived early. So on one hand, great, because I get to have it earlier, but then, like, my marketing campaign has been ruined. But basically, this is my first ever Colourpop haul, and I'm so excited to finally be trying Colourpop products. As you can see, I've been trying some products, and I'll show you which of the products I'm wearing on my face today. It's also really exciting because this might have been one of the brands on my brands I want to try in 2019 video, and I got one. Yay! But before I talk about the products themselves, I do want to talk a little bit about Colourpop's international shipping, especially concerning UK shipping, because I am based in Great Britain. The word great you can take with as much of a grain of salt as you want. But Colourpop have recently changed their process in handling custom fees in the UK. Originally what you do is you pay for what you were buying at the checkout, and then when the package got to the UK, you'd have to pay a certain amount in custom fees before you get the package delivered. Whereas now, they've got that kind of custom and tax section in the checkout itself. So you do pay a little bit of customs and tax. For me, it was around £11 to £12 worth of customs, but you pay that at checkout and then there are no surprise fees. So it gets delivered straight to you with no kind of hullabaloo. Now, what I found interesting is that the scheduled kind of process for how long this takes to get delivered was 10 to 21 days. Mine came in like 6 days, so that was amazing. I was really impressed with how quickly they got everything shipped out. Let's put this into perspective for a minute. This is a package that went all the way from LA to the UK on a boat, and it took 6 days from the day I handed in the order to me actually getting it. That's kind of amazing. I'm just really impressed with the service. Again, this is the first time. This isn't like a guaranteed thing for every single order that I might get, or you might get, or whatever. But it's a very good first impression, and I'd order from them again. So now I'm actually going to go on to the products I have, and I will take you through each one, and if I have any thoughts about them, if I've tried them. I haven't tried all of these products yet, but I have tried some of them, and I feel like I've got a good impression of them so far, so let's have a look at that. So what was really good about this order is that there were 2 promotions on, which means that I got some things for free. The first thing was that if you ordered a certain amount, you would get a free mini of the All-Star setting spray and this shader brush, which I think is really cool. I've been using this and kind of testing this out on the formula itself to see how it works, and I've been really enjoying this. And then the other offer was that I got 3 liquid lipsticks for the price of 2, which was nice considering I wanted to try the liquid lipstick formula. So I will show you which ones I got later on. But first of all, I am going to show you through the palettes I got. This haul is very palette heavy, which I don't suggest is a very wise decision. Getting 5 palettes from the same brand at one time is not really good if you haven't tried the formula before, but I don't know, do as I say, not as I do. I never said my processes were sensible, but I am going to show you all of the palettes I got. If you've been on my channel for a while, this first palette will be no surprise whatsoever. This is a Good Sport palette. I've wanted this since it came out. I feel like this is a really unique colour scheme in terms of what Colourpop does. So here it is. I like that you can get really nice neutral looks out of this, but you can also get some more colourful looks out of this. Like, some of these pops are really nice. Like this purple and this yellow and some of these more green tones, and this gold has a little bit more of a green shift. And I just feel like it has those unique pops that just really elevate this from what could have been just a more standard neutral palette. And I also love this packaging. Like, the tacky leopard print is just so me. I like tacky shit, so this is gonna fit right in. This palette was $16, and it does not come with a mirror, but the pans are magnetic, just in case you wanted to take them out, rearrange them, put them in different places, which I find really useful. Well, I don't find really useful because I never fucking do it, but someone's gonna find it useful. So that's the first palette I got, and the next one, again, this is another palette I've mentioned on my channel before, and this is the Ooh La La palette. Unlike the other Colourpop palettes, the 9-pan palettes come in a plastic packaging rather than cardboard. This is very pink, This was released around October 3rd in conjunction with Mean Girls Day. So this is very like Regina George, Elle Woods fantasy. I just think this is a really cute colour scheme. I want to try more pink eyeshadows, so this is like a perfect entry level into that. Also, I may or may not have at one point been interested in the new Kylie Valentine's palette, but then I watched a review and people said that the shimmers weren't very good. The main kind of pops of colour I wanted, turns out, are in this palette. I'm thinking that this is going to be like a bit of a dupe for that, and that's great because these colours are exactly what I'm looking for. They're exactly what I think was so appealing about that Kylie palette, but much more affordable. This is $12. It does have a mirror, and this packaging is cute. The next palette I got is actually the newest out of the Colourpop palette line so far, at time of filming, because y'all know they like to release a lot of stuff. But this is the It's My Pleasure palette, and I talked about this on my Twitter as well. If you don't follow me on Twitter, y'all know where the link is. But this is the palette. This skews a little bit more purple, but I still think it dips into pink quite a bit. This is more of a shimmer heavy palette, whereas the Ooh La La is more of a matte heavy palette. So I feel like I'm really interested in mixing those two palettes together, doing some kind of palette fusions and... But there's some really nice pops in here, and I love the names as well. You've got like Bare Minimum, Fanfiction, Chicklit. This is a purple palette with cool names, and it's small and it's affordable. Like, Colourpop really came for my wallet. But I haven't tried this palette or the Ooh La La palette, but I have tried everything else in this haul so far, aside from the All-Star Setting Spray. But these are the two 9-pan palettes, which are both $12 and both come with mirrors. The final two palettes are collaboration palettes. First one being the Wet palette from the Colourpop and Bretman Rock collection. I wanted to get this palette because, look at this colour scheme, y'all. I actually think that this collaboration is one of Colourpop's best collaborations in terms of just the uniqueness and the format and the way it's all set up. Having two different palettes, one a little more fiery and warm-toned and one with all these blues. Like, this is the most left field Colourpop's ever gone. Because it's Bretman, it's got some really funny names on here. There's a shade called Skinny Legend. I mean, as a Skinny Legend myself, can you tell? I had to get this. So far, I had a go of this yesterday, and I was so impressed with this formula in particular. I feel like the shimmers work really nicely in the crease. The mattes seem to blend out quite nicely as well. I was really impressed by this palette in particular. Also, this cover is cute because you have the glitter, but then, I don't know if you can even see this, but you have you have the word wet in all different places. It's a really cool packaging. And you have the name on the top as well. I just think that this is such a unique palette. This doesn't have a mirror, and this is also $12, the same as the 9-pan palettes. But I can understand why it's that price because it is a collaboration product and y'all gotta pay the person you're collaborating with. So I understand that. And then the final palette is probably something that's going to surprise a lot of people. I can explain. So the reason you might be surprised by seeing this palette, the Colourpop and Becky G Salvaje palette, is that I anti-hauled this palette. Oh my god. This doesn't happen usually. This is not like a frequent thing I do, is anti-haul a palette and then buy it. I do have an explanation for this because I feel a need to explain why my mind has changed about this. So my mind has changed about this palette because Colourpop's pictures of this palette on their website are terrible. They're so desaturated and just blah looking. And then I was looking on Temptalia and I saw her review of this palette and I was like, oh my god, this is stunning. This is like a full snack. This is a complete 3-course meal with free drinks and like the after dinner mint and all of that. Like, I was really surprised. So I had a look at some other pictures of this palette and reviews, and I came to the conclusion that this palette is absolutely gorgeous. So I decided to give it a shot. This palette is $18, not $16, like the good sport, because this does come with a mirror. And I just put my finger in Luna. So sorry, Luna. First of all, this packaging is stunning. And all of the patterns in here are slightly raised on the packaging. It's just colourful and beautiful, and I absolutely love how diverse this collaboration is in particular. Everything in this collection is very Latina. I absolutely love this. Also, I'm doing Duolingo Spanish, so technically this palette is educational. I love the look of this palette in particular because some of the tones in this palette go in really interesting directions. Like you have this peach. Some of the warmer tones in this palette go more of a burgundy route, which I really like. This is kind of what I did on my eyes today. I used the Salvaje palette for my eyes. And then the shimmers are gorgeous. The shimmers honestly remind me of the Huda Beauty Rose Gold. Like Corona and Petrona and Estrella and Celosa, really giving me that similar vibe. And then these two teals, obviously, Vibra and Serena. I actually created a look with those two teals and then Corona on the lid, and I thought it was so stunning. I've used this palette 3 times so far, the most out of the things I have, and I'm just really enjoying it a lot. At first glance, this does come across a little bit like a more basic warm neutral palette, but if you look closer, and I know this is like peak Morpheism again, but there are certain things about this palette that take it further, and I feel like now I can really appreciate that. This look is beautiful. I'm really happy with this. So long story short, I'm no longer anti-hauling this palette because I have it. I think it is beautiful. With some of Colourpop's recent collaborations, I'm loving the diversity. As I said with the Becky G collection, how everything is very Latina, very authentic to Becky as a person. I also love that they collaborated with Bretman Rock, having that Filipino representation, having a gay man do a collaboration. It's amazing when companies can have a wide range of people to collaborate with and really put their self into a collection. And I really appreciate that a lot. So I do want to talk briefly about the eyeshadow formulas themselves. I haven't tried all of these palettes, but so far the idea I'm getting is that this is a good formula, at least. With the Bretman Rock palette, I felt like I had 0 problems. I thought that everything blended nicely, everything looked really nice, I loved it. With the Good Spot and Salvaje palettes, I felt like at times when I was layering eyeshadows and when I was blending things got quite muddy quite quickly. And I feel like even though part of that was probably down to my technique and how I do my eyeshadow, sometimes I tend to go in a bit heavy-handed and add quite a lot of pigment when really I should be building it up a little bit more. If you do that, you might run into some problems. I found that my eye looks were getting very muddy and very kind of blown out too much, just not looking good. But I went in with the Salvaje palette today and I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I think that's because I adjusted my technique a little. If you're more flexible with adjusting how you do your eyeshadows, you'll definitely get a lot of amazing things out of these palettes. But there is a little bit of a learning curve. But otherwise, I think that it's quite a nice, solid formula. I had no issues with pigmentation. The pigmentation is excellent on these shadows. The shimmers actually work quite nicely with a brush. Though, to be fair, I did use Colourpop's own brush, so I might have to do some other testing with some other brushes. But overall, I feel like I'm getting a good impression from these eyeshadows, and I can't wait to get into the other ones that I haven't tried yet, and just get something out of it, because I'm loving today's eye look. The next products I want to talk about are 3 lipsticks I got. The thing is, I might have made another unwise decision here. With the offer that I talked about, which was 3 liquid lipsticks for the price of 2, I got 3 of the Ultra Matte Lips, not knowing whether I liked this formula or not. In reality, I picked these because I picked the colours I liked, and I didn't as much consider the formulas and what I wanted to try out of the different formulas, because I just wanted to try the colours I liked. God, again, don't listen to anything I say. I'm not a reliable narrator. But yeah, I did get 3 Ultra Matte Lips. What's interesting is that I have mixed feelings about this formula, but I actually feel like my opinions on this formula are actually better than I was expecting. Like, this formula is actually quite nice, but there are some issues with it that I want to talk about. So the first one I want to talk about is this one, which is kind of the odd one out of these 3, because this is also from the Becky G collection. I got the Ultra Matte Lip in Besame, which is this, and this is the one I'm wearing on my lips today, but I just love this packaging. I love how it has this kind of teal blue metallic with the gold and just the floral design. I just think this packaging is exceptional on the box and on the actual tube itself. This is what I have on my lips today. I was quite impressed with the opacity. It does go on quite smoothly and opaque. The applicator is a little scratchy. I found it to not be the more plush, comfy applicator in the world. And y'all know what's coming. This is a drying lipstick formula. If you don't like drying lipstick formulas, you aren't going to like this. I've heard people absolutely hate this formula because of how drying it is. I kind of think I have quite high tolerance for that, but also I don't think this is as drying as I was expecting. I actually feel like right now I'm quite comfortable in this lipstick. just after it dried, I felt a little more uncomfortable in the lipstick. But now I feel like I'm really just getting into the rhythm of it and just loving and living and turning it up and whatever. I feel like I'm quite happy with how this formula is. That is Besame from the Becky G collection. These other two are just in the standard packaging. This is Bumble. This is a classic. This was one of the OG liquid lipsticks by Colourpop. The minute I went on Colourpop's website and saw this lipstick, 2 years ago, I wanted this. So it's been a long time coming, but we've got Bumble, everyone. I just love how this colour looks. It doesn't look like it does on the website. On the lip swatch model, it doesn't look like that. I definitely found this to be the most drying out of the 3 lipsticks I got. The drying levels aren't the same on all of them. I also found this to be the most opaque. Maybe there's like a correlation between dryness and opacity. I don't know. I'll have to scattergraph that or something, but that's just what I've experienced. So that was Bumble. I can't actually believe I've got it in my hands finally. It's been too long. The last lipstick I got is another one of the permanent-ish, I suppose, because they like to discontinue and put in new colours all the time, but this is kind of permanent. This came out in a back-to-school collection around September, maybe, around that time. And this is a bright orange, and it is called What's the Stitch? I got this because I love the name and I love the colour of this. The name reminds me of Kim Possible, and the colour is just a bright orange. It kind of leans a little more on the yellow side, but on my lips it kind of just looks a little more of a standard orange. Again, not really like it looks in the pictures, I'll say that, but I still love how this colour looks on my lips. I think it's a beautiful orange. I actually did a wear test with this one. I found this to be on the same level of drying and opacity as Besame rather than Bumble. I put this through the ultimate test for any lipstick, a big old stuffed crust pizza, and it held up surprisingly well. I had a tiny little bit of wear and tear in the inside of the lips, but otherwise, I feel like this lipstick held up spectacularly. But that was What's the Stitch. My overall thoughts on this formula is that if you don't like drying lipsticks, you're probably not going to like this. I'll be honest. But I feel as if I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this formula. I have tried worse formulas, but I have tried better formulas. This isn't like my favourite lipstick formula in the world, but I'd be open to getting more. Just like tread with caution. You might like this formula, you might not like this formula. It is quite a polarising formula. But overall, I'm really happy with this haul. So far I'm enjoying the eyeshadows, even though I feel like I am needing to do a little bit of learning and adapting to this formula. Tread a little lighter and not pack on as much, because I pack on too much eyeshadow. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing with this, and I mean, I'm loving this look. I'm sorry, I'm just casually admiring myself. I think it's a nice formula of eyeshadow. I'm actually very surprised about the ultra matte lips not being as drying as I was expecting, so not too shabby at all. I wanted to try another red, and I think this might become like my staple red, because I just think it looks gorgeous. And then I was really impressed with the shipping as well. Obviously I know that different times will have different shipping times. Like sometimes if they have a big sale on, it'll take longer to ship things out, I'm aware of that. But the shipping time of this order was just like, damn, how did you do that? I got my order in around 6 days compared to the quota of 10 to 21 days that was listed on the website, in the emails. And I actually feel like the process of international shipping, in particular UK shipping, because I am from the UK, I actually feel like this process is a lot more foolproof than I would have thought, and I'm actually really impressed. So I feel like I can't wait to see what else happens, and I can't wait to see what else Colourpop brings out, because I'm actually in a position to be able to try them now. If you want to see any specific videos with these products, let me know. I'm thinking of doing like reviews, doing tutorials. I can't wait to get some more use out of these products because I'm loving them. But do let me know what you want to see from these products, or if you want to see anything on my channel, just let me know in the comment box below. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope that seeing my excitement over these rather arbitrary products made you happy in some way. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel below. As always, I am Ariel Network on Twitter and Ariel Net on Instagram, so check me out if you want to see more of me. And finally, thank you for spending time with me today. You've all been very good sports. I love you for watching. Bye!